For more than a decade, Seattle fans were forced to replay the same question over and over again in their head. What if they had just handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch? The Seahawks were 1 yard away from winning back-to-back Super Bowls, 1 yard away from defeating Tom Brady, and 1 yard away from turning an already dominant team into the NFL's next dynasty. But instead, Russell Wilson threw the football, and Malcolm Butler intercepted it. And in just a few seconds, Seattle went from being 1 yard away from immortality to wondering what could have been. This wasn't simply a lost championship. It may have been the moment that changed the future of the Seahawks, strengthened the Patriots dynasty, and altered NFL history forever. So, what happens if Seattle makes the other decision? Before we revisit the interception, we have to understand just how close Seattle was to becoming something truly special. The Seahawks entered Super Bowl XLIX as the defending champions. 1 year earlier, they had demolished Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos 43-8 in one of the most dominant Super Bowl performances ever. And this was not an aging team making one final run. Russell Wilson was only in his third NFL season. Marshawn Lynch was still one of football's most feared running backs. And Seattle's defense featured Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, and the rest of the Legion of Boom. They were young, physical, and built to compete for years. Seattle had already reached consecutive Super Bowls. A second straight championship would have placed them alongside the rare teams capable of defending their title. The Seahawks weren't trying to begin a rebuild. They were trying to establish a dynasty. And by the end of Super Bowl XLIX, only 1 yard separated them from accomplishing it. Seattle's identity was clear. Their defense intimidated opponents, their running game controlled the tempo, and Russell Wilson gave them a quarterback who could extend plays, protect the football, and deliver when the game became chaotic. That formula had already produced one championship. Even against New England, Seattle looked capable of repeating. The Patriots led 14-7 during the second quarter, but Seattle answered before halftime. Russell Wilson connected with Chris Matthews for a touchdown with only seconds remaining, tying the game at 14. The Seahawks then scored 10 unanswered points in the third quarter and took a 24-14 lead. At that moment, Seattle appeared to be taking complete control of the game. But Tom Brady and New England responded. Brady led 2 fourth-quarter touchdown drives, including the go-ahead score to Julian Edelman, putting the Patriots ahead at 28-24 with just over 2 minutes remaining. New England ultimately won by the same score. Seattle now needed one final drive to save its championship. And somehow, the Seahawks nearly pulled it off. Russell Wilson began moving Seattle down the field. Then, with just over a minute remaining, he launched a pass toward Jermaine Kearse near the right sideline. Malcolm Butler appeared to break up the play, but the football bounced off Kearse's hands, legs, and body before he somehow secured it while lying on the ground. It was the kind of impossible catch that usually becomes part of the championship story. Suddenly, Seattle had the ball inside New England's 10-yard line. On 1st and goal from the 5, Marshawn Lynch took the handoff and powered his way to the 1-yard line. Now stop and consider the situation. Seattle trailed by 4, 26 seconds remained, the Seahawks had one timeout, and Beast Mode was standing in the backfield. They needed 1 yard. Almost everyone watching expected Seattle to give Marshawn the ball, but that was not the play that the Seahawks called. On 2nd and goal, Seattle lined up with 3 receivers. Russell Wilson took the snap and immediately threw toward Lockett on a quick slant. Malcolm Butler recognized the formation, jumped the route, and intercepted the pass at the goal line. 20 seconds remained. The game was essentially over. The Patriots won 28-24, and Butler's interception secured New England's 4th Super Bowl championship. Pete Carroll took responsibility after the game. He explained that New England had loaded the goal line, so Seattle wanted to throw on 2nd down before potentially using its timeout and running the ball on 3rd or 4th down. He called the outcome his fault and later described it as the worst possible result of the call. And that distinction matters. The Seahawks weren't necessarily abandoning Marshawn Lynch. They believed they had enough time for multiple plays. But because the pass was intercepted, those future opportunities never came. The debate has lasted for years. Was it a terrible play call? Was it a great defensive read? Or was it simply the worst possible outcome at the worst possible moment? No matter which answer you choose, the result never changed. One play ended Seattle's chance to repeat. But let's ask the question, what if? What if Russell Wilson turns and hands the football to Marshawn Lynch? Lynch powers forward, crosses the goal line, and gives Seattle a 31-28 lead. New England receives the ball with almost no time remaining, and the Legion of Boom close out the game. Seattle then becomes back-to-back champions. Immediately, the legacies change. Russell Wilson wins 2 Super Bowls during his first 3 NFL seasons. Marshawn Lynch scores one of the most iconic touchdowns in league history. Pete Carroll becomes the coach who defeated Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in consecutive Super Bowls. And the Legion of Boom becomes the unquestioned defense of its generation. But the biggest question is what happens next? Does winning keep the locker room together longer? Does the team maintain more trust in the coaching staff and offense? Does Seattle reach another Super Bowl while its core is still in place? There's really no guarantees. Football rosters change quickly. Injuries, contracts, salary cap decisions eventually break apart almost every great team. But the emotional impact of winning cannot be ignored. Instead of spending years discussing the play that cost them a championship, the Seahawks would have celebrated one of the greatest finishes in Super Bowl history. And even if they had never won a 3rd title, consecutive championships would have permanently changed the way that era is remembered. They would not be viewed as a dominant team that came close to a dynasty. They would have already became one. 1 yard, 1 decision, 1 completely different version of NFL history. The Seahawks eventually returned to the top and captured the franchise's 2nd championship in Super Bowl XLX. But that 2014 team will always remain one of football's greatest unanswered questions. So now, I want your honest opinion. Should Seattle have handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch? And if Lynch scores, how many championships does the Seahawks core finish with? 1 more? 2 more? Or does the winning that night create the NFL's next true dynasty? Drop your answer in the comments. And for more stories about the plays, teams, and decisions that could have changed sports history, like the video, subscribe to Ball Up Top, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next what could have been story. And always remember, put the ball up top.